Hey guys, welcome to the 35th Mill once again. Today we're here to talk to you about Alien Covenant.
Yes, with this spoiler-free review.
Yeah, if you want to see our spoiler filled review, have a look at the next link. Where do we begin?
Where to start with Alien Covenant?
First of all, we were really excited to see it.
5 years.
5 years.
5 years.
From that final shot at the end of Prometheus, where Shaw and David go off into the stars to look for the engineer's homeworld.
Yeah, this was meant to be, solve some questions. It was meant to, I guess, lead us closer to where we started with the alien world.
Yeah.
And it really, I think this movie did a fantastic job of doing none of that at all. At all. It was, oh,
Needless to say, we are exceptionally disappointed.
exceptionally disappointed.
This is a movie that had so much potential, and they decided to squander every bit of it.
This movie, I've said it to several people, is the quantum of solace of the alien world. It is either the last quarter of Prometheus, or this makes Prometheus the first quarter of this.
Yep.
It writes off so much of Prometheus. It changes the lore of the the alien world.
We'll get to the Star Wars comparisons
Yeah,
in a minute.
yeah. Really not impressed with this movie. So disappointed.
Now, look, the reason we're so annoyed, aside from anything else, is that there actually are some very good elements to it. There is a fantastic score. There is good casting for a few of its leads.
Some surprise casting that worked really well.
Oh yeah, definitely. Danny McBride, for instance,
Yeah.
that was a very unexpected dramatic turn. Visually, this film is an absolute treat, the same way Prometheus was. The problem was the writing, and they've absolutely destroyed it. Now, we'll quickly run you through a very basic version of the plot. So, the story centers around the crew of the colony ship Covenant, where a small skeleton crew is shipping 2,000 souls to a new life on a new world. At the beginning of the film, some disaster happens, and they wake up out of their cryo sleep 7 years early and find that they have the opportunity to stay awake and go to a new planet that they've only just discovered, and that's where our story begins.
Yep, exactly right. Without giving too much away, problems arise and ensue on this planet, and yep.
Next thing we know, we have a xenomorph. So, look, a lot of this you would have picked up on from the trailer. The sad part is that the story doesn't really take off any further than what you saw in the trailer.
Well, I think you put it really great before off camera. We were talking about it, and Drew mentioned that what you see in the trailer pretty much sets up this fear or this tale, and they pretty much water down that trailer into making a movie, and they do an awful job of exploring ideas that you see in the trailer, and they go in their own direction, and it's just wrong.
I think the most upsetting thing is really that we did wait 5 years for answers from Prometheus with a very clear-cut ending. We knew where they wanted to go. We knew what was going to be happening. Even after Prometheus came out, Ridley Scott made it very clear about where he wanted to take it. And the movie we've been given is not the story we were promised at all.
See, I wasn't a big fan of Prometheus, primarily because I was so frustrated by the characters in it. They were so stupid and idiotic for scientists. I don't understand how people could be so stupid and be a scientist. And I completely disregarded so much of the story from it. What I've done since Prometheus is I've watched it a couple more times, and I've understood it a little bit more. It kind of got me excited for this one to see where it was heading. This movie gave me some clarity about where Prometheus was going. Having now seen Covenant, I'm so disappointed with how great Prometheus set up an idea, and this movie crapped all over that and destroyed anything good that Ridley Scott had set up in his own movie. He pretty much has said now, by releasing this film, that Prometheus is crap. That's what he's done, because he's changed everything about it. He's shut on the whole idea of it.
It's such a shame because Prometheus is almost like necessary evil. It's the story that you don't really feel like you want, especially if you're an Alien fan, but we needed it to establish this mythology that would then lead us into the 1979 film.
Yep.
However, at some point, Ridley Scott has decided that he doesn't quite want to give us a Prometheus follow-up. The movie itself is two movies fighting for top spot. It doesn't know whether it's a Prometheus sequel or an Alien prequel. And unfortunately, because they're so unclear about it, so are we.
Just before we get into our scores, I think, if you're an Alien fan, this isn't a spoiler. There is more Alien in this movie. It's called Alien because there is more Xenomorph.
Yep, we get the new Neomorph, which is fantastic.
Yep.
Visually awesome.
Yep.
Idea awesome. Poorly executed.
Very poorly executed. The reason I found it to be so bad was because the way that they set it up again in Prometheus and where this thing came from, you don't care about the character at all in this movie or in the last movie, and because you don't care about the characters, you don't care about what the Xenomorph's doing. You don't respect them, so you don't care about how they feel, and you don't care about how the Xenomorph interacts with them and the way it scares them. It doesn't mean anything. It waters down the Xenomorph, the thing that made Alien fantastic. Their own creation, they've ruined, I feel.
Now, before we get into our scores quickly, we've complained a lot about the film, but there are some very good points to it. Visually, absolutely gorgeous. The score is eerie as anything. It has the sound and the feel of the original movie. And as for the casting, Michael Fassbender is back in absolute top form. Not only returning as David, but playing new android Walter. He very much distinguishes two different personalities here and plays them off against one another in a way that could only be done by such a talented actor.
Yeah.
Catherine Waterston as Daniels, very much channeling Sigourney Weaver's attitudes as Ripley. So,
and then of course, Danny McBride.
Danny McBride.
Oh, I haven't seen him in a film since Your Highness, and here he is doing an amazing job. This film, he was great in this film. He showed that he can do something other than just ridiculous comedy.
He's very talented, and this movie gives him a chance to really showcase that. So, look, there are a lot of good elements to it, but unfortunately for us, we found that the problems outweighed them in the end.
Yeah. So, to my personal score, I'm going to give it... Personally, I'm going to give it a 3. You cared so little for the characters and for the ideas, and so mistreated about the way this story went against Prometheus, and where it's heading, this alien lore. No, I didn't even like that at all. I was so disappointed. But my unbiased opinion in the way it was developed, I give it a 6. I give it a 6 because it was so fantastic. The way the overcast kind of dull yet beautiful and crisp visuals of the mountains and the lakes. It looked almost like the middle of Norway or something like that. It was beautiful. The sound that went with it, the score that went with it was just fantastic. But then there's the screenwriting was like an anvil to this thing's visuals. It just destroyed so much of it. So it's a 6.
All right. Well, my personal score, I'm giving it a 5. A little bit more generous. It gives me some answers that I wanted, but unfortunately it destroyed so many others. There are a lot of elements I really loved, but at the same time, there was just too much that has angered me after waiting for 5 years. On the technical level, I'm also going to give it a 6 because I can't deny how much work went into the visuals, into the music, into the performances from the actors. I mean, it's not their fault that they have an awful script. And even Ridley, look, even if his story has gone off the rails, his directing is still excellent. He can still bring out a beautiful performance out of his actors. So, 6 for an unbiased opinion. Anyway, if you want to check out our spoiler-filled rant about this film, have a look at the next video, which we will be putting up shortly. And as usual, check us out on Facebook. We are The 35th Mill. You can find us at facebook.com/The 35th Mill. You will also find us here on YouTube, and we've also got our website up as well, of which you'll find the link in the comments below or in the Facebook page. We'll see you later.